One of my favorite authors, Erwin McManus, in his book, The Last Era, he said, if we're not careful, our past can be a simple extension to our future. Meaning, we just continue to do what we've always done. We get in a rut. We just do what our parents did. We just do what the church has normally done. And yet God has such purpose, and yet God has such an anointing for us to do new things, exciting things, things that we were made for. And then life just begins to pass us by because we just stay with what we've always done. We made some mistakes, and we see our future is predicated on our past. And so we just kind of get in a rut, and 1 year becomes 5, and 5 becomes 10. And the next thing you know, you're at the end of your life, and you've not fulfilled your purpose. You've not fulfilled your calling. And you have a lot of regret there because God has such great things in store, but you missed your moment. I don't want us to miss our moment this year. That's why as we start these 21 days of prayer and fasting, I wanted to give you this morning to remind you that you have choice. You remember 2 Samuel 12 when David has had that affair. Man, what a king. And yet at that moment, he was not at battle. He was walking, looking at a woman on the rooftop. He has that woman come to him. She becomes pregnant. He brings her husband home from battle. Her husband would not do the things that David did. So then he sends her husband to the hottest part of the battle, and he is killed, and David thinks it's all right. And then Nathan shows up and confronts David. David realized, I have sinned. And then David also goes another step that I love, that even though he made a mistake, and even though he sinned, yet when his child is struck by God, and when his child his life is extinguished, and he begins to hear the whispers of his servants, and he asks, is my child dead? And they said, he is. It is then that David does something amazing to me. He got up. He got up at that moment after he had fasted and prayed and sought God and begged God, and he asked God to do something, and God didn't do it. He got up. He got up. And so as we enter these 21 days and this new year, I want you to get up. David got up. And then secondly, he washed his face. He washed himself. That's symbolic cleansing of water. He recognized, I've got life ahead of me. It's almost that little picture too of also baptism, how baptism doesn't save us, but that death, burial, resurrection of getting up. Water always has that beautiful picture. But then he anointed himself. Why? Because he's still the king. He still has a purpose, and he still has a call. And one mistake doesn't stop all that God has for us. We can choose to lay down, or we can choose to get up. He got up, he washed, and he anointed himself. And then lastly, he worshiped. Even with all that he did, he still recognized that God was good. And there was a reason to worship God today. So today, as we start these 21 days, get up. Get up. Wash yourself. Anoint yourself and worship, because he's the same God. And he has a future for you. He has a future for our church. He has purpose for us. And I'm not going to stay in my past. They can define me, but God's already called me. So it's time to move forward. Get up.